Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this how to play video, I'm going to take a look at the biggest hype deck in the post-nerf Rastakhan metagame, the Wall Priest. The Wall Priest is actually its variant of Combo Priest, the good old Divine Spirit Inner Fire Combo Priest. But there are a couple of things that separate this from traditional Combo Priest builds. First of all, this is very heavily into resurrecting minions. Double Eternal Servitude, double Diamond Spellstone. So you can resurrect a whole bunch of stuff with this deck. Now, some Combo Priest builds have already had that one too, but this one also runs Master Oakheart. This really reminds me of old Taunt Druid builds, where if you have Oakheart, you play Oakheart, you build big board, you win games. Just a very, very strong card overall. Also, when it comes to the combo package itself, there's one copy of Inner Fire and there's one copy of Topsy-Turvy in this deck. So you're not completely ruined even if your opponent plays a Skulking Geist, because Skulking Geist can remove the Inner Fire and the Powered Shield, but it cannot remove the Topsy-Turvy. So you still have Divine Spirits and Topsy-Turvies. And because this is a priest deck and there are Shadow Visions, so as long as you have some stuff left in your deck, and you can Shadow Visions for multiple copies of that stuff. A typical kill with this deck consists of Divine Spirits on some of your bigger minions. Witchwood Grizzly, when it's resurrected, it's a 3/12. Moshok Enforcer, that's a 2/14. So you can quite easily get some really significant damage numbers with this. For example, with Moshok Enforcer, a simple Powered Shield, health is 16, Divine Spirit health is 32, and then Inner Fire Topsy-Turvy, so even with just one Divine Spirit and a Powered Shield, you can already deal 32 damage with the Moshok Enforcer. Whereas Witchwood Grizzly can't quite hit that 30 plus without having 2 Divine Spirits or 2 Powered Shields available. This deck also runs one copy of Shadow Madness, so your opponent is never safe. Like if there's a Warlock and they have a Void Lord on the board, Shadow Madness can steal that Void Lord. It has 9 health at the start and you can buff that up and use that to hit face. However, it is notable that there is no mana cost reduction in this deck, and that means that multiple taunts are something that's very difficult for this deck to deal with. Especially in conjunction with trying to steal something, because the deck does run Mass Dispel, so if you have your Moshok Enforcer on the board, you can do Mass Dispel and buff that up and kill your opponent. But if you have to steal something from the opponent, and they have other taunt minions on the board, then Shadow Madness plus Mass Dispel is already 8 mana, there's no mana cost reduction, so at most there's only one Divine Spirit into Topsy-Turvy available. Priest Mirrors are also pretty interesting with this deck, because of all these buffs, Mass Dispel and Shadow Madness. For example, if you have an Enforcer and your opponent has an Enforcer, then there's also some kind of potential lethals with Shadow Madnessing that Enforcer, and then if you happen to have like Topsy-Turvy Inner Fire, then you can just buff up both Enforcers, and that's 28 damage. But having multiple taunts on the board against this deck can typically stop all these steal combos. The deck also has quite a lot of defensive tools, because there's Star Reaper, there's Grizzly, there's Ciliax, there's lots of resurrect effects for those. So you can block the way with lots of taunt minions, there's 2 copies of Mass Hysteria, so you can wipe out plenty of boards, and there's 2 copies of Psychic Scream, so you can also get rid of all the stuff on the board. And if you're able to wipe out the opponent's board and then develop something like an Enforcer, and the opponent cannot immediately react to that, then Mass Dispel, buffs, that's immediately lethal. So there are some really scary things that this deck is capable of. As for the mulligans with this deck, well, you're always looking for Noteshare Cleric. Noteshare Cleric is just incredibly strong, gives you card draw, it's all that you really want. Then if you're against an aggressive deck, you're typically looking for these taunt minions that can stop the aggression. The Star Reaper, Witchwood Grizzly, Ciliax. These 3 minions are good in all aggressive matchups. In most aggressive matchups, you also want Mass Hysteria, except against the aggro Mage, where 5 cost spell they have counter spells. That doesn't really fly that well. And another exception to the general rule is that Shadow Madness is a good card against Hunter, but not against the other aggressive decks. In slower matchups, you want your Cleric as always, and you really want Master Oakheart. Master Oakheart is a superstar in slower matchups. Then there is another notable exception, which is the Priest matchup. Priest matchups are pretty interesting. Lots of them are also mirrors right now because there's so much hype about this deck. And in the mirror match, finding your combo pieces is crucial. So unlike in other matchups, in Priest matchups suddenly you want to hold on to Topsy-Turvy, Inner Fire and Divine Spirit. Of course in addition to Nocha Cleric and Master Oakheart. And another card that is useful in the Priest matchup is the Witchwood Grizzly. So a couple of different mulligans for slow decks, aggro decks, and then specifically against Priest. Right now this deck looks extremely strong in the current meta. It's really mostly stopped by stuff like Malygos Rogue. Malygos Rogue seems to have built itself a place as the fastest combo deck. So when it really comes down to who can pull off the combo fastest, then Malygos Rogue is a good candidate. And it can be defeated by some more aggressive decks. For example, Midrange Hunter is still a good deck even against this build. But most other control and combo decks really struggle to defeat this. And this deck is by no means helpless against aggression either. Just a very solid deck overall. If you enjoy this content, then please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more. And if you really enjoy it, you can also directly support the channel by joining it as a paid member on YouTube. And now, let's go take a look at Wall Priest in action. I have a lot of gameplay to show you. Well, it's probably going to be the Odd Aggro Mage. Odd Aggro Mage is one of the weaker matchups for this deck. Having Zilliax is good, having Nocha Cleric is good. So I managed to get some of the best tools. It's an Odd Mage. Well, now I don't know yet if it's Odd Aggro or if it's Odd Control, but I assume it's going to be Odd Aggro. And this fellow right here on 1 gives me some potential to find card draw.
I'll never tell.
That would be the Odd Aggro then. I mean, I have some options. I could like buff this up, because otherwise he can just kill it next turn with this one and the Secret Keeper. If I buff this to 5 health, that's 3 damage. In theory I could also hit into the Secret Keeper, so that if he doesn't play a secret, then the Secret Keeper is threatened. I think I'll go for that line here. I'll take that hit, because Secret Keeper plus hero power is not enough to kill the Cleric. He needs something else. I assume he coins Kirinto Mage into secret, of course. That makes a lot of sense. Now I can choose to either draw or choose to use a spell. If there happens to be, if this is a counter spell, does using a spell this turn do something for me? If I hit there, this one goes down to 2 health. I think I still take the hit over there. And then I heal this up to draw a card. Well, the Topsy is interesting. Yeah, Topsy is interesting. I don't need to use it yet. But it gives me a way to proc a potential counter spell. Guaranteed. But he would need to play more minions in order for my Topsy to be good. Okay, I think I'm Shadow Madnessing the Black Cat to kill the Kirinto Mage. I'll leave this one up. So I'll use the Topsy and proc a potential counter spell. Then I can Shadow Madness the cat, and the cat can kill the Mage. And then I have Zilliax, which I can use to kill the Secret Keeper. This would be a Cinderstorm turn. Probably if there's a Cinderstorm. There can of course be many other things too. Well, that's a pretty decent card, because now that Celiax plays much weaker. Does this make Mass Hysteria strong enough? No, it's probably a Grizzly. This probably means a Grizzly turn, because he doesn't have a lot of cards in hand, so it's 3/9 Grizzly. He didn't have Explosive Runes up. So getting rid of this Grizzly is going to cost him a little bit here. He might be able to draw a card from it, but that takes like a Cinderstorm or something. Well, not necessarily. He can just have like Daring Fire Eater. Okay. Well, that's really interesting. Because this could also be like a Mass Dispel turn to get rid of the powers of both of these cards. If I just Mass Hysteria, it's almost guaranteed board clear too. So should I just Mass Hysteria? If these fight first and this one hits the one who didn't attack, it's not necessarily a board clear. I think I want to Mass Dispel this board. I think this is fine. I also want to use this to attack, because then I could Divine Hymn it back to health. I guess I can do that. And use the hymn. That also gets the full effect on myself. Oh, and hi, come Matski, Soldier Frilla. And Duncan. Oh, sorry, I was so focused on this game, I didn't check the chat. But I do see the chat. Oh, he gets another draw. Scary. But I think this is a Grizzly turn. You can probably kill the Grizzly and draw a card with it. So would I want to Inner Fire the Grizzly? If I Inner Fire the Grizzly, I mean, it's possible. I think I'll just Inner Fire that Grizzly. Let's make it a 9/9. Then it's a bit more difficult for him to get through. Especially get through in a way that would allow him to draw more cards. Because otherwise this one can just hit in. It stays alive at 1 health. And it can be used to draw more cards. But I think this is fine. Because I don't really need to kill him with a combo. All I need is the ability to defend. Well, now with that Fungalmancer he is actually able to kill that anyway. And draw another card again. That is scary. Well, difficult to kill maybe, but there's still, at some point the Jan'alai will come. How have the games been? I've only played one game, this is the second game. I won the first one against a warrior, so there was not much to see there.
We have many secrets.
Is it just me or he does not keep score anymore? Yeah, I found that was also distracting me, so I stopped keeping score. So what is the spell? I've already seen one counter spell. It's counter spell or runes. If I played Celiax first, playing Celiax first is actually brilliant here, isn't it? Because if it's explosive runes, Celiax doesn't die to explosive runes anyway. And it was runes. Sweet. So this fellow kills that one. And I can also play a cleric. And I can heal that fellow. So that I can draw more cards. And Celiax can go ahead and kill that one and heal me up a little bit. But there's still that last hurrah with Jan'alai. That has potential. Okay, he's going to get a lot of draw from this Luna.
Behold the tools of creation.
We'll see. A lot of draw.
The tools of creation.
Tools of creation are being beheld. Okay.
The tools of creation.
Alright, alright. Most of the cards have been drawn by now. And there's another... he can't play this Firefly though. But I'm not sure if I really mind. What would I be looking for here? I have one spellstone, but I need to cast 4 spells to upgrade it. Can I survive a turn? There's one Cinderstorm left. There's one counter spell left. So I need to hold something for that counter spell. Shadow Visions into Shadow Visions is actually pretty good here. Because I can start buffing up my spellstone. But this one probably needs to be... doesn't need to be a Servitude. I think it has to be a Servitude. Then I can resurrect the Celiacs here. I can heal this fellow up a little bit. And I can kill the Luna. And I can kill one of the Fireflies. So doing it like this means that my spellstone is much closer to being upgraded. There is still a counter spell left and there's runes left. But I have a powered shield that I can throw into a counter spell. Leroy can mess up a little bit with the spellstone. Not a lot, but a little. Overall though, that was not a very powerful turn, if that was it. Just some more flame elementals, alright, alright. I'm completely fine with this. This is still there for a counter spell. And now we drop a Lich King on the board. And we have seen the Leroy, so it's only the Jan'alai. Only the Jan'alai that is left. Of course there's a Fungal Mancer, there's another Automaton. There's like Fire Eater Automaton combo. Now is this the... is this the counter spell now? Or is it runes? Difficult to say. Sacrifices most of his board for that one. That was a bit of a surprise. If he is fooling me and it's not a counter spell, I think I'll try to obliterate the cat. Obliterating the cat went well. That is a piece of good news. So it is explosive runes. But I don't have to drop like a Dark Reaper out there, right? Do I want to hit face? No, I don't think that will be necessary. Probably just fine to hit there. And Servitude, I suppose. I could have Servitude with Celiacs earlier, but I think this will be fine. So there is still the counter spell left, and I have this powered shield here to counter the counter spell. Alright, he finds the means to kill the Lich King finally. I need to cast 3 more spells to upgrade the spellstone again. Do I want to go for another spellstone upgrade? I think it will be fine. So let's do a little bit of shadow visioning here. We can pick up a Divine Spirit. Divine Spirit's fine. I can also Death Grip a minion from his deck. Oh, I pick up his Jan'alai. I think we're going to see the concede now. Well, tough luck. Now I suppose we should see the concede. Because there's nothing left. Alright. Now against the priest. I need a fairly quick conclusion. Could be Clone Priest, could be a mirror. Let's see. And you can usually only get to around 70 or 80 health with your armor. But that Shadow Visions was created by Shadow Visions, right? Yes. Well, I have a pair of Divine Spirits here, but I'm lacking the other pieces. Mirror, yeah, seems likely. And then the question is, do I want to buff this? I kind of want to hold on to the coin. I think I'll use one powered shield here. He keeps... Well, he's going to get good spell stones. That's for sure. Okay, time to drop a Grizzly on this board. Let's see what happens next. I've got some Divine Spirits, but I don't have... Don't have a Topsy-Turvy or anything like that. Well, now I could kill one of the Tar Creepers. I could kill this Tar Creeper actually. If I want to. I think I want to. Let's kill that one over there. Alright. Double Divine Spirits, but no Topsy or Inner Fire. And it's not even a mirror. That's a Control Priest. Okay. Well, there's an Inner Fire. So Shadow Madness, Divine Spirit, Inner Fire is 9 mana. But how do I make it happen? Well, well. Because there are so many paths this can take. I can like Scream here, or I can try to go for a Mass Dispel line. 20 is nowhere near enough. I think I'll do nothing. Let's wait a little bit more. See what happens next. I was kind of expecting that Primordial Drake, to be honest. Because then I wanted to Scream that one. This is a fine board to Scream. Alright, so far so good. Next turn we'll play the Enforcer.
I bring life.
Alex is obviously scary. There is a potential lethal with Cabal Shadow Priest and Double Mind Blast. It doesn't exist if I coin the... If I coin the Hymn, it doesn't exist. But if I don't coin the Hymn, can I wait because he could have like Anduin coming? And then there's constant risk of being killed. How likely is it that he has Cabal Shadow Priest and Double Mind Blast now? But even if he doesn't, I think I need to do this. This plays around Cabal Shadow Priest. This plays around Cabal Shadow Priest Double Mind Blast. Blast is I just Shadow Madness it back, if it's the only taunt minion. So I'm not really afraid of that. I was just afraid of dying this very turn. But that was the best thing he could have here. But that isn't enough, right? 8, 16, 32. And win. Celiax Powered Shield, Cleric. All potentially useful tools for survival against the rogue. Depends on the rogue, of course. If it's Malygos rogue. Malygos rogue is one of the best counters for this, actually. Malygos rogue just seems to be... I mean, it's extremely... I don't want to play that on 1, actually. I think I want to play that on 2 with the Powered Shield. It's extremely weak to aggression, but whenever there is a position where things are slower, Malygos rogue seems to thrive. I'll try the Cleric and Shield now. The alternative was to play Tar Creeper and then go with the Cleric afterwards. Hi, Luke. This could very well be a Malygos Rogue. Okay, it's definitely a Malygos Rogue. So this is one of the weakest matchups for this particular deck.
Right away.
And I probably cannot win this, but let's see. Because Malygos Rogue is good at dealing with boards. This deck only has a board. If a board is removed, it can never like directly charge the face or something. What would I like from Shadow Visions? Well, right now I still need both the spirits and the activators, so a lot. Maybe I don't look for any of those yet. Maybe I do. I grab an Inner Fire from there.
Right away.
If I have additional copies of Inner Fire, that means that I can potentially deal face damage in smaller increments. That's an interesting move though, that he sacrifices the first blade. That's very interesting. And that's not a Divine Spirit now, is it? So I have the option to play Inner Fire here and punch 7 damage to the face now. But how do I still do the rest? I think I'll go for it. It's Inner Fire and punch 7 to the face now. I have another Inner Fire and a Topsy-Turvy left in the deck. Hit object Buck White Object Anduin. Nice. Yeah, I expected him to need to use some removal pieces. I was hoping that maybe he will have to use a Vanish. But not that lucky. Grizzly and the Cleric. 3-4 Grizzly is not exactly impressive. That was to be expected. Now I've seen 2 Saps. And he found a Minstrel. So that probably means that he's able to win the game. That probably means he can win. I don't have any of the other combo pieces here either. Celiax that one down and push 1 damage, but now this is probably the end. Very probably. Did I have a better line? No, actually I think my line was optimal. I needed to go in with that early pressure and see whether he has found Saps or Vanishes. With preference of course being that he would have found Vanishes and not Saps, so that he would have to use Vanish early, which would then give me a chance to do something later on. But I don't see a way to deal that 13 damage here. Minstrel is the key card. He found a Minstrel, so he should have Malygos. I wonder if there was any other line, but I don't think there was. Now he's going to be able to mill a card too, which is very, very useful for him. No, and it was an Inner Fire that he milled. Oh, that's beautiful. I still fully expect to die. Alright, so I mean, there's still plenty of cards in the deck, but he has Malygos in hand, right? And he has the Kobold in hand. He played the Shiny Finder to get rid of a minion, so that he can get closer to getting the Mali combo. He has 2 Razor Petals here. Is this an Oak Heart turn? Does he have the second Vanish? I suppose it's an Oak Heart turn regardless. I can draw, but I cannot draw enough to get to... Yeah, I can't. It's Oak Heart turn. So now he needs either the second Vanish or the combo. But he should be there by now. He is there. Well, can't win them all. I think I did the right thing when I pushed early damage. I don't see how I could have done this pressure otherwise. So that will be lethal with just Razor Petals. And he also had a Sinister Strike, so... And it looks like he's going to have a bunch of more stuff too. Yes. I think I'll try something like this against the Hunter. So real, at your rank, would you prefer Odd or Secret Paladin? Secret Paladin. Well, I think both are fine, to be honest. There's nothing wrong with either one of them. This should be a draw that wins the game. But let's see. I mean, there can be a Crackling Razormaw coming here. Ooh, it's a Hybrid Hunter. Well, I was kind of feeling that there might be Spellstones involved. So that's why I kept the Hysteria. Ooh, it was a Snipe. A plan most devious for the careless of foot. And it's always Huffer too. Ouch. Well, I will have to settle for just healing my face for the time being. It's a Dire Frenzied Huffer. This game's suddenly looking much more difficult than it did just moments ago. 5 cards in hand, so this will be a 3/7. Isn't that awkward? On the other hand, Ciliax is not that much better. I think we need to play the 3/7 now. It will probably take a Huffer hit to kill it. But, alright, this is kind of a draw that can beat this deck. I climb from rank 17 to 9, only losing 2 games. Yeah, Ciliax end turn. No, that would have been hard countered by Springpaw into Flanking Strike. Are there any counters to this deck? Yeah, Malygos Rogue counters this. This is slightly unfavored against Midrange Hunter, and this is slightly unfavored against Aggro Mage. And then there are Rogue decks that counter this one too, so yeah, there are plenty of counters. I think I need to resurrect the Grizzly here. Secret Hunter and Quest Warrior seem to be good counters. No, neither of those is a very good counter, but... Much better counter is the Midrange than the Secret build. But obviously Secret build has its upsides. So many secrets. That would be a lot of secrets right there. I need to hold the defensive line here for the time being. See what happens next. There's no 3 attack minion left in the deck. There's no 1 attack minion left in the deck either. Well, this board will have to be Mass Hysteria'd. And he has plenty of Huffers in the deck. Scary times. Do you know that Jaina got nerfed? Oh, well, that's a fun joke. Fun joke now, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minions on the board. Do I try to attack with this one now? But one of these minions will survive. Mass Hysteria. I think I'll try to attack now, because sooner or later I will need to attack him in the face. So I want to find out what's going on here. Oh, this is a Mass Hysteria. And then the Dark Reaper. Let's see what happens. Reasonable results. Feels very priestly. This one is only going to pull a Moshhog Enforcer. I have had all the other stuff already. Oh dear. Another spellstone immediately after. And this can hit into the Moshok so that it cannot get much done.
What is a loon's will?
So is that another wandering monster or another snake? Another wandering monster it could very well be. Let's attack in anyway. Oh, it's some kind of something else. Alright. Play the oak card. I do pull out cleric, of course. I didn't immediately realize that there was still a cleric to be pulled. So there can be a hunter's mark, which can of course easily get rid of the enforcer. Now he can get rid of the enforcer by hitting everything in. Now that he has Rex R2, that means that he doesn't have to hit everything in. Well, he does if he wants to actually kill the enforcer. Interesting times. And he can get some really big beasts coming as well. None of these even die if they kill the enforcer. I assume they will. And there's the links to kill this one, and these will kill the enforcer. Alright, I see what you did there. Oh, that's a good card. So there's Snake or Venom Strike Trap here, probably. I mean, it could be a Rat Trap. And let's draw some cards. Pair of Psychic Screams. I just don't have quite enough damage. One more spell to upgrade this. But I could cast this one. This is completely fine. And all of these are going face. There's no reason for me to attack into the wolves. And I get a pair of big taunt minions again, so can he find an answer to these again? I have that Divine Spirit, I have that Topsy-Turvy, and I have a Mass Dispel. So if it's a taunt, if it's not some kind of rush beast, then I just might have the answer. But we're about to find out. He has two created beasts in hand. Does either of them have rush? Yes, that one does have rush. And there's 30% chance also to find poisonous. So actually he is able to deal with this board, probably. He plays another one of those, of course. But he couldn't find poisonous. But they are both rush beasts, so it's not quite enough to kill everything here. But it's enough to... But that's not how any of this works. That just isn't how any of this works. We can try with this hand.
We have turned our curse.
It's just like playing Taunt Druid, basically. If you have played Taunt Druid, this is just the same thing. The meta is favorable for it.
Reporting for duty.
Alright, so it was even Paladin, and not odd Paladin. That can prove to be a problem, because next turn there's going to be either Choose a Champion or a Blessing of Kings. Maybe just Corpse Taker though. And that would mean that he can pretty easily push through the Star Creeper. I was wondering between playing Corpse Taker or between playing something that kills the Star Creeper.
Magic shall not save.
That was not the choice that I expected. Because that silence was extremely underwhelming. I don't think I have to play Ziliax out there yet. I can hold on to my coin, because then I can get coin Oak Heart. Most even Paladin lists have got equality after the nerfs, so his ability to answer Oak Heart is limited. Alright. We'll be able to easily answer Ziliax though.
Reporting for duty.
But I suppose that's acceptable at this point. Ziliax down the biggest minion. I get a little bit of healing here, which is fine. You can easily give me the 3 healing, it does not change anything really. And then a Corpse Taker. And this can be 14 damage with a Blessing of Kings, which is what makes it so scary. I don't think I want to spend the coin yet. I think I'll just Mass Dispel this board, because by Mass Dispelling this board I get rid of the Wind Fury, and without Wind Fury the Corpse Taker is not nearly as intimidating.
Reporting for duty.
Okay, I take a bit of damage here, but then I will Scream this board next. So that should still be fine. Then we simply go ahead and Scream. He does get the Tarim back though, so he can draw Tarim later. Ooh, a Tyrion. That's a little bit awkward. So I'd have to get through that in order to be able to kill him later. I suppose this is still coin Oak Heart. But getting through the Tyrion might not be entirely trivial. We'll see. There's a chance that I can kill him next turn, and there's a chance that I don't. But most of these decks have got the equality, and that is kind of what I'm hoping for here. I mean, I have a Shadow Madness and I have double Divine Spirit Topsy, and I have two high health taunt minions on the board. So if he has got the equality, then this can be a very difficult position for him. He's going to Steed the Tyrion, or he's going to Kings the Tyrion. Okay. And he can still play Consecration. Ooh, that kind of thing. Does he get the Eye for an Eye or something like that? He might. Suddenly this became much more interesting. Suddenly this became a whole lot more interesting. I mean, I can kill the Tyrion, but that's only if there's no good stuff out there. Yeah, what is it? I do not know either. I could draw more cards so that I can find another Inner Fire. But I probably just need to play these out there. Something like this. See what happens. Yeah, obviously if that's an Eye for an Eye, I would have to be able to hit him with a small minion first, and then with the big minion. But if it's like Redemption, then it would be nigh impossible for me to push through the Tyrion. Well, it's not going to be a Redemption now. But he might have like a Blessing of Kings for this one too. Oh, but he has a Steed. Okay, now I don't think I can actually push through all of this. It starts to look like I simply cannot push through all of this stuff. I already used the Mass Dispel. There would be the Inner Fire, but too many taunt minions. So I'd have to Scream these at some point, and then resurrect my board. I can Shadow Madness the Corpse Taker, Let's draw 2 cards. And I'll Shadow Madness the Corpse Taker. This one will attack into Tyrion first. I get to see about the potential secrets and stuff. And then this one is going to kill that fellow. And then Oak Heart and this will kill that one. I should have resurrected an Enforcer. Yeah, sorry, I was a little bit too slow. I needed to resurrect an Enforcer there. Now this might not be enough.
It's time for a little blood.
Needed to resurrect an Enforcer.
It's time for a little blood.
Your magic shall not save.
Well, that doesn't do anything. Then it is actually enough after all. Well, that got a little bit close there, but... yeah, I'm still unhappy that I didn't resurrect another Enforcer.
Right away.
Just kill the Tyrion. And we buff up this fellow for lethal. Shadow Madness. I think I like these against the Hunter. So, I'm not sure. I was thinking minion with high health, maybe with taunt something like Drake or Statue. Probably Statue is better than a Drake. I think we're going on board with this one, although there is that card which could be a Crackling Razormaw. Thompson, what would be an effective deck just now to get me past rank 5 and upwards? Aggro Mage, Odd Paladin, Even Paladin, Midrange Hunter. There are tons of good decks. Maybe even this one. Although I think actually Midrange Hunter is probably better, because Midrange Hunter is pretty good against this one, and it's pretty good against pretty much everything else in the beta as well. Not much I can do this turn. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Does that mean that I have to coin a Shadow Madness? Because taking 13 damage is not really what I have in mind here. But if I spend the coin, then I cannot coin Ziliax next turn or Massisteria next turn. This is a very hard turn. If I coin Mass Dispel now, then there's only 7 damage coming in. Then I can Shadow Madness next turn. I think that's what I need to do. This will remove 6 damage from the board. And then I can Shadow Madness his Hyena. Maybe enough, maybe not. I mean, I can still die here. Kill Command is lethal. Kill Command would be exact lethal here. Okay, so there was no Kill Command. That's an upside. I need to Ziliax this Hyena. So I get to 8. Which means that now Kill Command is not lethal. Double Kill Command is, but if he didn't have 1 Kill Command last turn, then he's not going to have 2 Kill Commands this turn. Flanking Strike is really, really good though. Because now I will have to heal in order to not die to the hero power. And the same will go on for every single turn. And Kill Command top deck is lethal at any point too. And every turn I have to heal or I die to just the hero power. And any turn if he can get through, he just wins. So pretty hard times.
Well played.
So he has flanking strike. Well, I don't think there was a whole lot I could do in that game, but he didn't know about either of those.
Is someone injured?
Job's done.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're buffing this a little bit.
Right away.
Looking for opportunities to draw. Alright, what can we find next? Oh, it's a Deathrattle hunter. Nice. Well, I have nothing that I can do about this, so... I can either heal my cleric or I can heal that. If I heal that, then he might not be able to kill the cleric next turn, because this one doesn't die if he has nothing. I think I'll do it like that. This means that he has to have one extra point of damage in order to kill the cleric. This deck is pretty forgiving. Well, he had an activator, so then stuff like this can happen. I don't think I want to mass this spell. I'm going for Hysteria next turn. But we'll see what he plays. Turn 4 is not a very strong turn for him typically. We'll see about this. I'll play the top deck Mass Hysteria. Everything dies. But a Witchwood Grizzly. Well, I have a Scream coming in the near future, so I'm not too worried about the Grizzly right now. You can of course cube it and stuff, but we'll see. On the other hand, I would also need a Scream for his turn 8, which is the real power turn. More Grizzlies. Well, now I have one combo piece. How do I think this one is going to turn out? I don't think I want to mass dispel this yet. But if I Scream them now, the next turn I'm playing the Mosh Og, then I don't have a Scream for all the Deathrattles. I will have only the mass dispel. I think I'll still take this line. I'll Scream those back now. I'll go for the Mosh Og next turn. And we'll see where we go from there. This turn is probably a weak turn for him. 8 might be stronger. But then is the question, okay, how strong is that 8? Do you have stuff that kills the Mosh Og? What can you pull with the Katrina? So, Mass Dispel... 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Man, this is lethal, right? So I Mass Dispel, and then I will Powered Shield this, and I will Divine Spirit it, and then I'm going to Inner Fire it, and then I'm going to hit him in the face, and then we win the game. I might against Paladin. I was a little bit wondering if I should try to mulligan for a 5-drop with that, but if I can draw 5-drop by mulliganing just one card, then I suppose it's okay. Lots of odd Paladins right now. And Odd Paladin is a decent deck to play against this build, so that's a prime reason to have it. Alright, we go in with the Cleric. On 2 he should not have an answer to this. Well, he can have if he has Blessing of Might. What's been your favorite deck to play since the start of the year? I don't know. Hard to say. I haven't really thought about such things. Oh, now he can probably kill the Cleric a fair bit easier. Oh, that Purifier Small is pretty sweet. As an upside, it doesn't really do much against Mass Hysteria. Typically these Divine Shields are actually counterproductive against Mass Hysteria. But we'll need to wait and see. The real problem here is that next turn he would be able to play a big Frostwolf Warlord that I cannot get rid of. And how scared am I of that? How scared am I of the Fledgling? I'm scared enough of the Fledgling that I'll coin Ziliax to kill it. But then if he has the Warlord, what do I do about that Warlord? I will be unable to scream for multiple turns. It will be an 8/8 that the Mass Hysteria cannot kill. But if I coin Mass Hysteria now, the Fledgling might not die anyway. I think I need to coin that Ziliax and kill the Fledgling. But this was a very difficult turn, because Mass Hysteria, Ziliax and even Witchwood Grizzly were all options. Just 4 cards, so this would have been a 3/8. Maybe this would have been the answer. Yeah, because this was the punish. That was the only potential punish there was. Oh, I need to play the Grizzly here. Get a 3/8 on the board. 2 more turns before Psychic Scream, so somehow I need to survive that. If he gets +1 attack, like if he has a Raid Leader, that would allow him to push a little bit more. Getting that down to... Why did he... Well, this is a Mass Hysteria board then, right? Yeah, I need to try the Mass Hysteria this board. I will do it with this one that I top decked. And I will slam it here, so that to his perspective it will look like okay. He just got that one. And what happens then? So he doesn't have a read that I have a Mass Hysteria in hand when I play it like I'm very enthusiastic about playing it right here. I have a Grizzly and I have a Dark Reaper that have died. And I ring this Spellstone. I have a Grizzly over here too. I don't have any of the combo pieces. Actually, I do have a Topsy-Turvy. I'm just considering screaming this. But I know he has another Taunt minion in hand. So maybe I don't scream yet. I can even go for something like this. Because I kind of would like to see that Taunt minion from hand. But maybe he will save it and not play it yet. Well, turns out that it was Sunkeeper Tarim. Sunkeeper Tarim is a good minion to have. That's a lot of damage. That means potential lethals. Many potential lethals here. Well, that was pretty good. If I had screamed, probably would not have been good enough, right? 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19 damage. But if I scream, I'm dead to so many things. But if I Mass Hysteria, I can also be dead to many things. Mass Hysteria Dark Reaper is still better than using the... Well, that was a surprisingly good Mass Hysteria. Because this gave me out against like a Vine Cleaver, to which I would die if I screamed.
The light dims, but we fight.
So I have had a Grizzly die, Ziliax die. Alright. And I've had a Cleric die. One more spell to upgrade. So we're upgrading so that we can guarantee Ziliax, which should help me stay alive. Alternative path, play Moshog. Now it's better to guarantee Ziliax. Now there's the guaranteed Ziliax. Ziliax will kill one of these. Is this one going to just hit here? Yeah, I believe so. I want to take away the Divine Shield. I can also play the No-Char Cleric. This should be acceptable. So now I'm at 7, I have a bunch of taunts, I have a Ziliax on board.
I will silence their screams.
Killing Ziliax is all nice and everything, but hardly the thing. And now if I can find combo, if I can find Divine Spirit, I will win, right? And I even get to draw multiple cards in an attempt to find it. So that's a Scream. So 12, 14, 15, 16 is not quite enough. So then we draw. And depending on what I'm able to draw here, how many spells do I have left? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Way too many spells still left. So I'm risk dying to silence. No, I don't actually. I can look for the Divine Spirit here. I cannot find it. So no Divine Spirit. 14, 14 is the best I can make of that. I think I'll make the 14, 14 and see what happens next. 14, 17, 18, yeah, there's no lethal. There's still no lethal. But I'll do it like this, so that I put him down to 4 health. And he only gets 1 draw, so it's very unlikely that he can survive this. Even if he finds something like a... Well, yeah, Leroy just doesn't do anything. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.